Hi, this is your 2019 yearly horoscopes with me, Lada, from astrolada.com. Thank you for choosing me to be your guide for the year 2019. I feel very flattered. And I just want, before we start, and this is the intro for all 12 signs, but it's important for you to watch it. And before I start for each sign, I want to invite you to join me in a little prayer, no matter who you believe in and what you believe in, just to focus our energy and to benefit the most through this reading. Dear Mother, Father, Universe, God, exalted angels, guardians of every human, those that are helping the evolution of humanity and of every individual person. Please bless everyone who watches those videos and the whole world in 2019. Let those videos and the information that is given here be useful to everyone, so everyone can use it to the most constructive possible ways, to the highest vibration of the planets. And even if there are challenging periods and moments in our life in 2019, let this video and this information give us not only clarity but a meaning and understanding of those more painful experiences that are in front of us, so we realize that life is not an adversary to battle with and conquer, that life is our benevolent good partner that is trying to lead us to discover our true authenticity. It is trying to lead us to a place of happiness, to a place of truthfulness. So let this year 2019 and the information we receive here, let us use it to the highest good for everyone involved, and let us be able to utilize the planetary energies to help ourselves, to uplift ourselves and those around us. Amen. So I want for you to benefit the most. Thank you so much for joining me, by the way, in the prayer. So for you to benefit the most from this, I want you to take a pen and paper and write down 3 things. And some of you would be just listening your sun sign. Others would be just listening to your moon sign. Others bought all the 12 videos, so you'll be able to be watching your ascendant, sun, and moon. But I always advise you, watch your ascendant sign, because if you go to a professional astrologer, they'll look at your ascendant and how the planets are in correspondence, where they're moving from that ascendant. And nowadays, more and more astrologers are using the ancient time of astrology, which is whole sign house system. So these videos are perfect. The whole sign house system is what when first astrologers created it, the system they were using it. So without the house cusps and anything. So the ascendant is the point of incarnation of the physical body. So it is of the soul into the physical body. It is the physical bodies. That's why it shows the most tangible things that are happening to us. That's why I always advise, check the prognosis for your ascendant sign. The moon sign is our inner world, how we feel, our self-consciousness. So the moon usually manifests the second most powerful after the ascendant sign, because we especially strongly identify with how we feel about something and something that impacts us emotionally. And even though, for example, from the ascendant, some big event might be happening, like changing of place of living, but from the moon, it's shown that, for example, you will be having a quarrel with a friend. For you, this will be a way bigger deal, because emotionally this feels much stronger for you, this quarrel with a friend, for example, than the relocation that's happening. But from the ascendant, it shows the specific things that are happening in your life in a tangible way, because the ascendant is the material body and what is happening to us on our path in that material body. And the sun sign is what most of the people only check, and but that's pop astrology. But still, the sun sign is very important. The sun sign is our willpower, our goals. It's our ability to channel divine intelligence. And the sun sign will show us, looking at the prognosis from the sun sign, will show us especially the things that we are striving towards to achieve consciously. And the prognosis for the sun sign would tend to have more free will over that prediction, what you're going to read, because the sun is connected to free will, while the moon symbolizes the past. These are things that often happen. The prediction from the moon are encoded from the past, while from the ascendant sign, it's sealed in stone, so to speak, So yes, checking the sun sign is very important, especially because you can direct the events there more with your free will. The moon sign, you feel like it's more fated and it affects your feelings the most and your personal life. And the ascendant sign is the most tangible event. So I would advise start with the ascendant sign and progress. And for you to know, though, a lot of people don't know, the sun sign is the one that everyone speaks about. You know, like, oh, what are you? I'm an Aries. It means I'm born from March the 20th to April 20th, something like that. But and I can give you predictions for, oh, if you're born from March 1st to March 5th, this and this will be happening for you. But every year they change, the sun moves into a different sign a day before or after, and I want to be way more precise for you. So instead of giving you days, we're gonna find the degrees of your sun, the degrees of your moon, and the degrees of your ascendant signs. And for some of you, the moon and the ascendant might be the same, or the sun and the moon. Rarely, but it happens. So for you to find this out, I want you to, and I'm going to share my screen with you. Let me just. Here it is. Share. So I hope you see it. Go to my birth website, astrolada.com. You see it here. And go to the birth chart and transits. Or if you have any other astrology calculator, I don't mind as long as it gives you the information that I'm going to show. So here I'm going to put a fictitious person, let's say whatever name. Write your name. So you're born in August the 6th, 1972, for example, at 8 a.m. or make sure that if you're born later, you check if it's 8 p.m., 20, you know. And it's important for your correct ascendant and for the degree, in particular for the ascendant and the direct degree of the moon, the correct sign and degree of the moon, for you to know your minute of birth. If you don't know it within 15, 20 minutes, the degree of the ascendant might be 3 or 4 degrees off, but the moon degree would usually be correct. But say you're born 8/17, and say you're born in the USA, and you're born in New York, and you have the drop-down menu. Which New York are you born in? Well, there are many New Yorks, say New York Hospital, whatever. And continue, press continue. And then you're gonna get this chart, and I want you to scroll down, you see, not here, but here inside. And you're gonna see this, which shows planetary details. And I want you to, there is abbreviation of ascendant, sun, and moon. This is the only work you have to do. After that, just listen and enjoy and wait to hear your degrees. I mean, I'll be speaking generally about each sign, but especially when I mention the degree of the sign that you have. This is when things are going to, you know, you're going to feel them so intensely. So this person, for example, has ascendant, which means your rising sign is the same. Ascendant, rising means the same. The physical body, it is at 20 degrees Aquarius. I want you to write just the first degree. The second one is not so important. This is 28 minutes. This is very minimal. So 20 degrees, write down on a piece of paper, Aquarius 20 degrees. You have to watch the video for Aquarius. And every time I mention Aquarians born, say, from 17 to 21 degrees and you're 20, they'll experience this in particular this year. And you should be like, okay, this is very specific for you. It's gonna manifest. You're gonna feel it. Then write down your sun sign. This person, for example, has sun at 14 degrees Leo. And the moon sign. The moon sign for this person is at 16 degrees Cancer. So if you've bought, for example, if your sun is in Leo, make sure that you know the degree for your sun. So in this case, you know, this is the sign. The sun is the sign everyone knows. I'm a Leo, I'm a Virgo, you know. So, but make sure you check the degree of your sun. Check the degree of your sun. Check the degree of your ascendant or moon, whichever one you're waiting. And then, so for example, if you have the all 15 videos, this person has to check the video for Aquarius, Leo, and Cancer. So I hope it's not too complicated. It's actually quite simple. You can watch the video a few times to understand what it means. But now know the degree. Write it down, have it on a piece of paper, and whatever you're listening to, if it's your moon sign that you're listening, knowing the degree, when you hear your moon degree, you're like, ding, that's specific for me. For the ascendant sign, overall, the whole prediction is very correct. While for the sun and moon sign, again, you would feel it maybe to a lesser degree, but especially when I mention your sun or moon degree, this is going to, it's happening. Whatever I talk about, it's happening. You feel it strongly. It's going to be so important for you that year. So, with that introduction, thank you so much. And we're going to start with the signs one by one. Sagittarius 2019. Well, guys, this will be some year for you. I guess a lot of you have been expecting that year, looking forward to it because you know that Jupiter, the planet that rules you, is coming back. The king is back in its kingdom. So you're going to start feeling like you're more powerful. You're going to start feeling, whether it's your sun, moon, or ascendant, it's just going to bring that vitality back into you. And you might have felt in the previous year, in particular 2018, that maybe it was more spiritual year for you, but maybe it was harder to manifest, especially in a material way, because Jupiter, the planet that rules you, was in your 12th house. And the 12th house is where our efforts kind of dissolve, or they're more towards internal growth, towards research, towards study. 2018 was a year for you to kind of get prepared, to kind of let behind the past. Maybe there was certain release, and Jupiter helped you with releasing the past, releasing attachment to certain areas of your life. Maybe it was more introspective and internal year for you, more focused on spiritual growth, more focused on your inner world and feelings. A year when you were probably even assessing the past and what has to stay, what has to go, reevaluating your life in some way, just looking within deeper. Maybe there was possibilities for travel for some of you, or for deeper research and studies, which Jupiter in the 12th house is all about, but also some endings and completions. And now Jupiter is returning back into its own sign. So you're entering your own waters. You're Jupiter, ruled by Jupiter. And you're going to start feeling more vibrant, more like yourself now. You're going to start feeling like, I can breathe again. I can be myself. I'm feeling more joy. And especially before 2018, 2017, 2016, Saturn was in Sagittarius, in your sign, guys. And you probably felt that you are not yourself during those years much, because your freedoms had to be restricted. They need to be much more responsibilities. You had to mature, to be serious, not so adventurous. There were some important new beginnings for you as well, but they were kind of a bit forced, and they were, in a sense, with more efforts and with more difficulty. It's surely a maturation process, but you haven't felt like yourself for some time. And now, when the planet that rules you comes back to your sign, especially if it's your ascendant in Sagittarius, the sun and moon as well will feel it. The moons can, people with Sagittarius moon will just feel happier this year. You're going to start knowing that you're back into your power. You can start manifesting again. You can start making things happen. Because when Jupiter was transiting your 12th house, you might have felt like you try to start something new, but it's just not manifesting, or you can't find the resources, or you can't, it's like the universe is not supporting those new beginnings. Something is being delayed. Something still had to be worked on to be released. And now you're going to start finding in 2019 that when you try and start new things, doors will open for you, that you'd find the inspiration, you'd find the confidence, you'd find the vision, the clarity, what it is that you want, those new beginnings. So 2019, Jupiter in first house, basically the sign of a sun, moon, or ascendant. It's time for new beginnings. And those new beginnings will give, what you start now in 2019 is going to give results for you over the next 12 years. And there is a slight difference whether it's your sun, moon, or ascendant there in Sagittarius. But it's still, I can give you an example when Jupiter was transiting the sign of my sun, exactly when it was on top of my sun. So in my first house from the sun, I started the astrolada.com website, and it was overnight success. And the things that you start now, doors open very fast for you. And I've tried before that to start that website for 7 years. And the year before that, or before that, I managed to do it, but it just did not. The results were very slow. It was not happening, and I kind of decided to change the name and started it all over again. The year Jupiter transited my first house from the sun, and boom. So I'm giving you this as an example to know, and I wasn't planning it to be like that. It just coincided, and it just proved to me that yes, you can grow and you can expand a lot and you can start something life-changing and very important, and the universe supports you in that, helps you. It's not as grueling hard work as the new beginnings when Saturn transits the first house. And of course, I'm still seeing the results of that because it's for 12 years you see the results of something that you start when Jupiter transits your sun, um, your ascendant in particular, and your moon as well to some degree. So you'll be gathering the fruits of what you started for many years after that. You might not see immediately the results of that, because now you're seeding the seeds. Now the opportunities will come, the new ideas will come. You'll start channeling in inspirations. You'll start being in line and just getting exactly the right things that you're supposed to do. But you might have to work on that for a few more years, or maybe if you're looking for material results till 2020 when Jupiter enters your second house. So 2020, you're going to start seeing the material financial rewards from that better. But now is those big new beginnings in your life, and you're going to feel freer, and you're going to feel more yourself, and you're going to feel aligned to the right path. What you start now, you know this is the right thing, because Jupiter is the planet of truth, is the planet of Dharma. So what does it mean? Dharma is the right path that we're meant to walk on. The Dharma is the contract that your soul did, and the actions that your soul wanted to do when it comes here. Whether it's a career, whether it's a path, whether it's a partner, whether it's a life direction, what your soul wanted to do when it came here, and is the Dharma. So something you will align you with the right path you're meant to walk in. Something will show you the path. It might be a teacher, a mentor. Jupiter rules such father figures or mentor figures. So it might be your higher self that gives you this, that creates the clarity for you what you are meant to do, what is the right path for you, that gives you the truth of who you are and what you're meant to do. So look for signs, guys. Don't look, they'll come to you. Just be open and recognize them. There'll be so many synchronicities happening for you now. Like it might start with seeing 1111, 555, or numbers on cars that repeat, or you might be thinking about cleaning your, for example, your gutters in the house, and you see an advertisement for cleaning of gutters. Like such alignments, what you're thinking about or what you're talking about, you hear it on the radio, you hear something about it, and these are signs that you're in tune and you're aligned with divine will. And the more such signs you get, it means that you are very close to the truthful path, that you are on the right path. If you're not getting such signs, it's an indication that you're misaligned, and the more aligned you become, and now this is an opportunity, very rare, once in 12 years, to align you on the right path that gives you joy. When the soul is doing the actions that you are meant to do here, when it's not divergent on some other path, it just everything, the whole universe conspires to help that soul. And this is a period for you that you'll start noticing that first with subtle signs, then with much more like shocking coincidences and synchronicities that put on your path, and it's like God speaking to you and giving you signs, this is the way to go. Or you might, for example, think, I want to go study in and you might be on the cross path, on the on the crossroad and saying, should I take that job in marketing or whatever, this new job, or should I go travel to Vietnam or whatever? I'm giving you such a silly example. And then you get super clear and you're thinking about that, and you hear on the radio the Prime Minister of Vietnam there, and you're like, these are the things that the universe will talk to you through. And it will show you clearly with those signs or with strong intuition and being at the right place at the right time, what is the right thing for you. And if you have to rape it and force it, it's not gonna be for you. This will be, if Saturn was transiting your first house, I would say yes, you have to try it over and over and over again until it works, because now you're being trained on how to be persistent, and if it doesn't work, you have to try again. But with Jupiter transiting the first house, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant, synchronicities, the universe shows you the way. Teachers, conversations, you're in lucky kind of occurrences to be coincidences, as they say. And you're going to start feeling like your luck is increasing, like you're seeing the clarity. And if you have a very important decision to make, whether to take this path or this path, because now you'll be put in front of such choices. Because it's new beginnings, this or this. Believe me, you'll be given very clear signs which the right path is. Your intuition will speak clearly to you. And some of you might have to be a little bit careful because Neptune will make square to some of the degrees in Sagittarius. So there can be initial confusion of some sort or unclarity a little bit more. I'll speak about that, what degrees these are, but just staying with Jupiter in Sagittarius is you start feeling in alignment. You start feeling like you're the universe's benevolent and gracious towards you. Things start happening to you, and you start being able to start new things with ease, to initiate big new projects. If it's the Sun there can be a powerful new beginning in your career in a positive way, that new opportunities opens up in regards to fulfilling your goals, in regards to creating the kingdom that you want. And the Jupiter in Sagittarius is very strong position anyway, because Jupiter is in a fire sign. Sorry, your sun is in a fire sign. So you have big aspirations. People with Sun in Sagittarius, they naturally have big aspirations. They dream big. They have goals. They want to create some beautiful kingdom for themselves, like very... the sun is the kingdom we create. So you'll be able to take that step towards creating that dream kingdom for yourself, this dream life that you have. There will be support there. There can be something good that comes to you through a male figure. Maybe there can be a new important man in your life that you feel lucky with, that is like a teacher figure that opens opportunities for you. It might be even in a relationship type of way. Oh, there might be a benevolent help from some boss or authority figure, something good happening in the life of your father. Sometimes, very rare occasions, I see a father pass away when Jupiter transits the sun, but that's usually like the father is being liberated from long suffering. But usually it's like acquiring father guru figure, teacher figure in your life, or an important beneficial male figure, and help of some sort, or something good can happen in the life of your husband. If you already have a career, you can get a promotion, an opportunity, especially to educate yourself more about it, to travel more about it, to expand that career, to expand that business. Your business can do much better, for example, and that's about growing your kingdom, as I said. Also, you can discover what you have to do as a career if you're someone who is not clear what to do, what is meaningful. Jupiter transiting the sun or the ascendant as well can align you to what it is you're meant to do, to give you the answers of what it is that is the thing that will bring you most joy and that you're most natural with. So you'll find that truthful path for you. Your life becomes more meaningful overall. You start noticing meaning in everything around you. You start believing again. Life starts flowing and becoming magical, manifesting things, like you want this thing and you kind of and it happens, like you believe it's going to happen and it happens, and you kind of have a feeling, I have a strong feeling that there will be a parking spot there, and there is, or have a strong feeling that there'll be, that when I go there, everything will go right, and it usually does. But again, as I said, you can start seeing maybe the results of what you start now might take a few years till you see all the fruits of it. But now is the time for those new beginnings, and Jupiter gives you the inspiration, the faith, the right circumstances to make it happen. If it's your moon there, Jupiter can make you feel much happier emotionally. If you've been in a period of depression or just semi-depression, or not feeling emotionally connected, feeling emotionally disinterested in some way, wow, now you're gonna start sparkling again. You can have faith in life again, faith in yourself. Good things can happen to you through women. So I think good can come in the life of your mom. She can be of help to you or your family. You can expand the number of your family members if your moon is there. This can be a time for motherhood sometimes for someone as well. Or it can be a time for joy that you receive from family, or it can be a time that and from parenthood responsibilities, that you appreciate that role of parent and you expand it and love it. Have more fertility as well is likely. This can be also a time where you feel just honestly just joyful. I remember Jupiter transiting my moon, and for about 15 days I felt like I was in some kind of a trance, positive meditative state. Everything was, I was just joyful. There's so much joy in my heart. And it was, for me, it happened just once, but for some of you, Jupiter can transit the moon 3 times. And actually, anyone that has sun, moon, or ascendant in the following degrees, from 14 to 25 degrees, they will feel the influence of Jupiter 3 times. 14 to 25 degrees in Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. The things that I've been talking to now, they implant themselves much more into your life. You feel the strongest effect of them. By the end of 2019, if your moon is there, you might have like a new house. You might relocate to a better place. You might expand your house or your family, improve relationships with family, find more happiness, get out of a depression, improve some health issue as well, because the moon is especially the health of women of some sort. And if it's your sun, we spoke career, growing your kingdom, good things through men that come to you in some way. Improved confidence, improved certainty in the direction you have to go. All those beautiful things. And if you happen to have sun, moon, or ascendant before the 14th degree or after the 25th, Jupiter will transit there just one time. There will be still an opportunity, but but you have to grab it when it comes. Before 14 degrees, it might happen basically sometimes till March or February, and after 25 degrees, those opportunities, you will feel them after September, October, October, November more, 2019 basically. But still something good in regards to the sun or moon will happen, or if it's your ascendant, your overall life. So new beginnings in your career, new beginnings in your family, personal life, or emotional relationships that are joyful and happy. New beginnings. And I had a friend with moon that Jupiter transited recently, and she's been in a depression before that because Saturn transited first there, and she came out of that depression. She recovered, she started feeling the joy of life again and inspiration, and she expanded. They made a big renovation in their home, and she made it the way she wanted. She found the resources and everything. So these are the things can happen when Jupiter transits the moon with the ascendant. Powerful new beginnings in every area of your life. The ascendant will feel this so strong, especially if you have from 14 to 25 degrees ascendant. But even before the previous degrees, from 0 onwards, Jupiter will be in your first house, 2019. So, and if you're the later degrees after 25, those new beginnings can come towards the end of 2019, but they're there and you'll be feeling them, and you'll feel like you're stronger again. You'll feel you can manifest, you can make things happen. Things align for you, as I said. Opportunities for travel. Jupiter is the planet of traveling. There will come opportunities to travel, opportunities to study or expand your knowledge and understanding, and more spirituality comes. And by the way, last time Jupiter entered Sagittarius was on October 24th, 2006 or 25. 2006. That was the day that the book The Secret and the movie The Secret was released, with the moment Jupiter entered Sagittarius. And I think it's changed our world. So last time Jupiter was in Sagittarius, for me, the most pivotal thing was the the emergence of The Secret and the law of attraction. This is when they've existed forever, but this is when they became accessible to large audiences and people around the world. So there'll be a similar things that happens now while Jupiter is in Sagittarius, and you're the one that benefits the most because you're the Sagittarians. You're the ones whose life is supposed to mirror the law of attraction, the law of abundance, whose life is supposed to be an example to others, that when you believe in something, something happens and something manifests. You're the sign with the most powerful ability to manifest something when you believe in it. For example, if you're Capricorn, this is not the path you're walking on so much, say Capricorn rising or moon. If you're Capricorn sun, you're walking on the path of showing to others how hard work and trying over and over and over and being realistic and pragmatic give results. But you're on the path in this lifetime. You chose to experience the ability to manifest and align things miraculously as long as you have strong faith. And Jupiter is returning that strong faith for you. So it will be like a mini renaissance for Sagittarius. The rebirth of your belief, the rebirth of the belief of abundance and kindness and opportunities. And this is, and even if it doesn't like make your life like a billionaire or give you immediately the freedom, the seeds are being sown now, that you have more freedom, that you become an example over the next 12 years while Jupiter is unfolding that plan and unfolding and growing those seeds that you seed now in 2019 of more belief in abundance, more belief in yourself, more belief in the kindness and beneficialness and of the universe towards you and towards everyone. So you'll be a walking incarnation or a walking example how the law of attraction works or how the law of faith and gratitude works. Jupiter rules gratitude, that feeling in your heart of thank you, I'm so grateful to have that truthful feeling, and you're gonna start feeling more grateful. And those of you who are having a bit of problem with that, I told that for Scorpios as well because they have Jupiter in the second house, particularly in regards to money for them, but for you in your whole life, that there is something, a saying in the Bible, those who have more will be given to them. The whole world will be given to them. Those who don't have everything, what they have will be even taken from them. And in the original scripture in the Bible, the word gratefulness was omitted. But that's the Bible in the original text, that those who have gratefulness, all will be given unto them. More will be given unto them. The whole world will be given unto them. Those who don't have gratefulness, even the things that they have will be taken from them. So this year you'll become more grateful, and I advise you to even do it consciously to help to align with the energies of Jupiter. When you especially consciously do things that are Jupiterian this year, the opportunities that Jupiter will bring you in your life, personal, career, to fulfill your dreams, to over the next 12 years to start new beginning that will give you joy and align you to the right path in your life and bring meaning and abundance to you, they will multiply. So the exercise for you this year that's most important for you, Sagittarius, in regards to fulfilling your dreams, in regards to those new beginnings that are happening, is to make a list of gratefulness daily or as often as you can, and write all the things that you're grateful for currently, because it starts for gratefulness for what you have, and try to feel it through your heart. Try when you say thank you, thank you, thank you, to feel it here, to feel it from as if you're saying it from your heart. Even read the book from Rhonda Bryan. It was called The Book of Gratitude or something like that, or something like that. I'm not sure what it is, but I think it just recently came out again in line with, again, Jupiter in Sagittarius, that it's manifesting through having faith, manifesting through um, aligning to our right purpose, and manifesting through gratitude. And thank first for that, and then thank for the things that you don't have, but thank as if you have them. Say, for example, you want family, you don't want, and say, or a child, or you want to be independent in your finances, so you want, and this is, you're setting the program for the next 12 years, guys. When Jupiter, your planet, is in its own sign, it's building the matrix, the energetic matrix, the astral matrix of what's to come for the next 12 years. This is such a pivotal year. As I said again, some people say, oh, Jupiter just passed my sign and nothing happened. Well, I had some ideas, some beliefs change, but those things exactly that happen are the ones that will unfold over the next 12 years. So start thanking first for the things you have, and why you're thankful for them. Think about that. You have to feel it in your heart, and then start thanking for the things that you want to have, but think as if you have them. So say thank you that I have those two beautiful children, even if you have no children. Or thank you that I have this amazing career, that it's the thing that I've always wanted to do, and that I'm so successful, and that I'm so recognized. It feels great. Thank you, God. Or thank you that, it's for anything of those things. Start thanking that the things that you don't have as if you already have them, to make yourself believe like you have them, to make yourself feel. You have to feel it. It's so important, as if you're there. So kind of, you have to a bit imagine it. What does it feel to have that house you want? What does it feel to have the right relationships that you want? How do you feel about it? You might not even see details about what the partner is, or that you want, or what the career it is. You can't fill in the details. Don't think how you'll get it or what exactly it is. Just feel how it feels. Or maybe you want your career to include a lot of traveling, or maybe you want your career to be from home. Jupiter will make you help make clear what it is that you want over the next 12 years, and will make it clear for you what it is that's actually truly aligned to who you are, and what is part of your dharmic path. And you just have to start vibrating this more. You start through this gratefulness list. Be thankful for what you don't have already, but don't say, I think that in the future I'll have this and this, or thank for my future husband. No, you have to do it. Just like, I'll tell you this story again, because this year is so faith-based for you, so about expanding your mind about what you believe is possible. Because once this shift happens in your mind, Jupiter is doing it. It's going to shift your mind of what you believe it's possible about yourself, about your life, about your goals. Then you have 12 years to manifest it, and it will manifest. So I want you to keep very positive outlook this year, and it's going to be easier for you, and to believe more. But let me tell you this story. This person goes, and that's a true story, it's from books, goes with a shaman into, there wasn't, with a native Indian, there wasn't rain for months one summer in a desert somewhere. And his friend, who is a native, says, I need to create some rain and come with me. So they walk for a few hours, and they go to a sacred place, those kind of stone formations. This is where the energies between the invisible worlds and the visible are thinner, where the intentions and feelings are amplified. So there's such sacred places. So he goes there, he sits in a circle, and he stays for 5 minutes, and he comes out and he says, done. And in a little bit, within a few hours, those clouds come, and it just starts raining and raining and raining. And his friends asked him, what exactly did you do? And he said, well, I sat inside on the stone, or in that circle, and I imagined that what it is when it's raining. I imagine the rain on my clothes, on my feet, the mud that I'm stepping in on my feet, the wetness, the coolness. I imagine the sound of the thunderstorm, and I started saying, thank you, God, thank you, thank you, thank you for this rain. There was no rain, but he thanked it. He felt it like it's there. He felt what it's like, and he thanked God, to the universe, that it's there already. So he said, I didn't ask for rain. I didn't pray for rain. Please, God, give me rain. I imagined it, and I imagined what it felt to have it. And I thanked that I had it already. And it manifested. So that's That's the just Jesus Christ was doing before he would heal someone. He would say, thank you, God, for this healing. He thanked for something that hadn't happened yet. So you're grateful and you feel it like it's done already. This is the thing you have to learn this year, Sagittarius, and to remind yourself, because you bring this knowledge, you're Sagittarius, you bring, and you know this is the truth, to remind yourself about the power of this. To the universe will remind you that you have this power to manifest yourself. You're the biggest manifestors through faith. Of all the other incarnations, and you'll be like a beacon for others, and your life will reflect that over the next 12 years. But it starts with the change in your mind, so start thinking for those things. Those new beginnings are coming for you guys. I'm so excited. You will manifest, you'll start seeing results over the next 12 years. And at moments it might slow down this year because Jupiter goes retrograde from April the 10th till August the 11th. You might feel that you're manifesting power, or even your confidence slows down, or that the opportunities are not so forthcoming, or that you have to work extra hard on some new beginning to implant it further. And then when from August 11th again Jupiter starts moving forward, so by September you again things pick up again for you. So very happening, very manifesting. Jupiter also brings fertility. It's the planet of children, and it's so strong in its own sign. So if you have especially moon in Sagittarius or ascendant in Sagittarius, this can be the time of child coming. Plus Jupiter rules your 4th house and brings the energy of parenthood into the 1st house, on new beginnings through parenthood, or new beginnings through new place of living, new beginnings through expanding home, new beginnings through bringing you new vehicles as well, bringing new members into your family, settling, happier settling of some sort. So a lot, fertility increases, inspiration, vision of the future, opportunities being aligned at the right place at the right time. Guys, I cannot stress it enough, but cultivate that feeling of gratefulness and generosity. You will become more generous as well when Jupiter transits your 1st house. This is the way you have to be. Saturn is in your 2nd house. There might be some financial restrictions still, but you'll be generous maybe with your time, with your faith, with being kind. You can become more humanitarian, more positive, and Jupiter naturally will bring abundance as well, opportunities for growing your abundance. Opportunities for teaching, for learning, for studying. Some of you might start new beginnings as a teacher of some sort, new beginnings on many levels it can, because Jupiter rules those things. Just it can expand a little bit the weight, because you're incorporating a new astro and etheric program for the next 12 years, and new opportunities are being imprinted deep into your subconscious, new belief systems, new perspective, new horizons, and that can naturally reflect, even without you eating more food, into expanding the physical body, so you can handle that, this newness, and it kind of reflects. One thing expands internally, emotionally, psychologically, in growth, high understanding, more evolution, more growth for you. Well, that can reflect on the body, but also Jupiter will increase your vitality, so you'll have more energy. So you can be compensated, so you're not only just putting on weight, you can be more active, so it doesn't have to go out of hand. You can develop more muscular vitality, more toning as well. Good thing for physical activities of any sort, because you feel excited and enthusiastic about those things. Well, Jupiter is in your 1st house as well. Oh, wow. 14, especially to 25 degrees, they feel it's stronger. But for everyone who has something, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant in Jupiter, especially the Ascendant is felt very strongly. The Sun, I've seen it as well. But in more specific topics, like I mentioned, for men, or with career matters, or with the Moon, family matters. And wow, yeah, I hope you're getting excited, guys. And materially, though, you might be still a bit restricted, because Saturn already in 2018 entered your 2nd house and continues to be there, and Ketu is also in your 2nd house. Saturn there is all about trying to, and it's in its own sign, so that's okay. Saturn is okay to be in its own. It gives better results in its sign. Yes, it will still delay things, make them more hard work. So acquisitions of assets, acquisitions of material things, results from those new beginnings that are starting might be delayed, might require, especially material results, extra effort and work. Saturn, though, still can give material things, but after repeated efforts. So now here you have to be a bit more persistent and consistent when it comes down to money, when it comes down to resources and possessions. Um, and here you have to persevere more. Here you have to be more, let's say, cautious and not restrict yourself, but put some kind of when you consciously do the things Saturn requires, like put some limitations, put some, yes, restrictions, put some boundaries. When you consciously do it, for example, you're saving for something and you're counting pennies, well, then it doesn't have to be that from the outside you don't have some outer circumstances blocking access to money and resources for you. So often I've seen people like they have to tighten up their belt financially when Saturn transits the second house. But those that are more conscious or more mature, usually older, they do it because they have some goal or plan to save for something, or because they're investing in something and their money goes, and their savings goes more towards some practical goal. So it might feel like they have to live more restricted financially, like they have to limit themselves, but they're doing it consciously with a plan and a goal. For example, when this happened and especially Saturn being in its own house, its own sign, that's usually tends to manifest more those better things. Now remember when my ex-husband had Saturn through the second house and Saturn was exalted there, so good results again. Yes, his finances, he had to take a financial payback, cut down, because restriction financially, because he wanted to work in a better company, but it required him to take less money. But there was a goal with that. So for sometimes there might be the need to restrict, or and he consciously chose it. He says, I prefer to choose the less money, but I know this company will give me more reputation eventually and lead to more money, usually when Saturn moves out of the second house. And also there was, he was restricted because all of his savings, he had to put them for MBA, for, so there was no savings to tap from, or they kind of we had to be careful because financially, but it was for a good cause and with a good reason. So hopefully you would use that Saturnian energy of restriction and control for some goal of some investment, or maybe sometimes a person is trying to buy a house, so this puts some financial burdens on them, or access to less expensive things, like to cheaper, and Saturn means something cheap. So it might happen that during those 2008 and 2019 you might have to buy cheaper products. Also the second house is food, or second-hand products. This is great when Saturn transits the second house, to acquire things that are that are second-hand, or to take old things and kind of fix them up and use them. That's another thing. And to appreciate old things more, to appreciate their value, and to learn to kind of budget and finance and your resources, to manage them and to do with less available resources, but still make them go a long way. This will, and also Saturn wants to cut off the unnecessary appendages from how you spend money, how you maneuver money, what you do with your expenses. So it doesn't mean it will make you stingy like Max Scrooge. Sometimes in extreme cases, if you have Saturn there already by birth in the second house in Capricorn, so you're having Saturn return, it can do that. But Saturn wants you to streamline your spending, to make it more elegant, to make it more, to prioritize correctly. What it is that, what's the most valuable thing that I need right now. So it makes you realize the true value of things, especially when resources are a little bit less. You start appreciating the things that you and trying to make use of the things that you already have and not to splurge on unnecessary things. So Saturn, and even sometimes I've seen it that it does not diminish the finances of a person, but it just gives them the state of consciousness as to, I don't need to buy another pair of shoes. I already have 3 beige shoes, nude skin shoes. I'm going to use those. You kind of more puts you in a state of mind of conservation of resources, of 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 non-wastefulness. And that's the lesson of Saturn. Don't be wasteful. Learn how to manage your resources better. And there is also a good advice I'll give you. If there is restriction to money and financial matters, so access to restriction to the access of assets of some sort, while Saturn transits in your second house, which often tends to happen, it means that you need to go back and put order into your already existing assets, money, resources, to organize them, to systemize them. And Saturn wants to streamline, to downsize. So throw out the things that are excess from your wardrobe, the things that you don't need. Doesn't mean don't value them and throw valuable things. No, Saturn wants you to really check and assess what it is that is truly valuable for you, what it is that you're still gonna wear, what it is that you're gonna make a use for. Don't just store there like a hamster or a squirrel stashes for, you might need to get rid of some of those things. And Ketu is helping you detach and let go, because Ketu is an influence of letting go, releasing something material that you are attached to that is actually more of a burden already, and to kind of cleanse, Saturn and Ketu is released, let go, and Saturn is streamlined, made elegant, made just leave the things and the items and the assets that are of highest priority to you. So this is my advice. If you're having some financial blockages or delayed access to resources and money of some sort, or some financial fears, put order in your already existing resources. And there might be something small. It might be like just your clothes. Some people have just assets and possessions that are just their clothes, or it might be something bigger. You might own a lot of different expensive collections, art collections. You might own jewelries and all kind of different things. Well, put order, organize them, see which is really valuable, maybe reorganize them, sell some, revive some old things that you're not using. So Saturn wants you to put order in the house it's transiting to. So put order in your finances. Make a plan. And follow it. Make a budgeting plan of some sort. Put order in your possessions. Put order in your collections. And then, and cut off the things that are not necessary, and then they can be space for more. And don't worry, Ketu allows you to detach more easily. So some financial source might go away from your life now. Something that you relied on might go away. Some of you, I remember when the South Node transited my second house, I let go of all my possessions, all my books, most of my clothes, everything that I've gathered in 16 years. In UK, because I relocated to live here, and I didn't take anything with me, just a suitcase. And it's kind of Ketu made space through all that. It wasn't a junk, but kind of I let it go, and I had to. And Ketu makes the process easier because it's emotionally helps you detach from those possessions and those things. And Saturn demands you that you streamline those, and that you're more responsible with your resources and finances as well, more conservative as well. During transiting Saturn in the second house, usually you have to invest in something, especially because Jupiter is transiting your first house. You'll be starting some new beginnings. Maybe that's why it's time to tighten up the belt, to be more, that it can align perfectly like that. Yes, new beginning, you're starting a new business, or you're starting a new life with a new partner. And because of that, you're more cautious financially, and you have to reorganize and see what are your, you're relocating to a new country, or so Jupiter can give beginnings of very different sorts when it transits the first house. And because of that, you might need to get rid of certain possessions and just leave the most valuable and systemize them again. And, so that's what is necessary. And again, as I said, if you're having blockages that are not your own doing or restrictions, That's what you need to do. Like, see what is really valuable for you, what is worth keeping, and what you can let go of and remove. And Keto helps you remove it, and it's gonna leave a lot more place for other things. So if you want your finances to fare well and to make and better, do this. Get rid of some, release some attachments. You will have more financial fears when Saturn transits the second house. This is normal. One becomes more fearful and tries to hold on to the things they have already because they have fears. But Ketu says no, release, and Saturn says streamline. So you have to go against that fear, and be, again, as I said, be cautious. Be If you're investing money, invest in something that is more um, traditional, something that's more secure, like property usually, or something that is. Don't invest your money in anything that is high risk, because you're gonna lose. Get to loss of something. Saturn needs something traditional to invest your money, or something second hand, or something old. If you're buying valuable things, you might have to test them a few times, or if you're buying valuable things, buy antiques or second-hand things, or something that's been repaired. It will be better this time. It will be better for you. And you say, oh, but I want an expensive pair of shoes. I can't buy a second pair of shoes. Go to take an old pair and revive it, or something like that. Or if you're buying some equipment for something, try and buy second-hand equipment. This is the better ways to go when Saturn transits the second house. And second house is also to do with collections of any sort. Well, Saturn can make them more of a hassle and a burden. They might be very time consuming. Say, some collections need to be cleaned all the time, or to be stored in certain special conditions. They can become too expensive to maintain or to store. And again, Saturn, if it's too much, you have to let them go, release them, or kind of make them more maintainable, and they can become more of you can have more responsibilities about maintaining your valuables that can feel like a burden, and at the end you might succumb to Ketu and say, okay, I'm letting you go. Also, second house rules storages, containers of any sort, so there can be some damage there. For example, you've put your valuable pictures or albums, anything that you store, or valuable, or kind of, it might be valuable books or family memorabilia or something, and it gets damaged in some way. Maybe it because it's Saturnian, and it can get it can dry out, or they can be damaged to the sealant of the and drying, or decompressing of something. So there can be some damage of your valuables and things that you store as well. That happens during Saturn, while Saturn is there as well. And the second house is the foods we eat. And Saturn can limit the access to more nutritious food sometimes, or even a person might feel like eating more stodgy foods while Saturn transits the second house. So foods that are more dry, that are more, let's say, less full of vitality, and more, I wouldn't say junk so much, but kind of drying, stodgier, colder foods. You might prefer colder foods as well. And you might have problem digesting. There might be some hard to digest foods that you feel more drawn towards, and some problems with digesting the nutrition in the food can happen as well when Saturn transits the second house. But Saturn transiting the second house gives fantastic, tremendous staying power when it comes to dieting, because Saturn, if you don't restrict yourself consciously, it will restrict you from outside. Like, you can ban access to good foods or something, or the nutritious foods, or having to keep a diet because of something. But when you do it consciously, it can be a great time to impose some discipline in your eating habits, to learn to eat slower, for example, to consciously learn to eat slower, to learn to eat more often but smaller portions. Saturn means to do something repetitively but in smaller portions, not like sit for 2 big meals a day. Maybe just some kind of a fasting. This can be great time for fasting as well. Some kind of restricted diet, like turning into vegan, eliminating something from your diet, fantastic time. And actually that aligns well because Jupiter is in your first house that can make you put on weight, but Saturn in the second house give you the perseverance, the self discipline, and the staying power to restrict yourself with food in some way, or even to go more extreme, to go on a more austere diet of some sort, or just to eliminate. And it will require willpower, but Saturn gives you that staying power and repeated effort. It might not happen from the first time you try. Say you decide to become vegetarian, or you decide to do fasting once a week for 24 hours, or you decide to limit gluten or something like that. That it might be imposed on you from outside because say you just realize you're gluten intolerant, so then you feel miserable, or you might decide to impose it on yourself. But also Ketu is helping, because Ketu is to let go of something, to detach emotionally from it. So Ketu is going to help you detach emotionally from the emotional value of some that you give to certain foods. But Saturn allows you to do some fasting and to hopefully balance that Jupiter in the first house that can expand the body in some sort, and to regulate your diet more, and what you put in your body as food, as drinks of any sorts as well. And it can make smaller the amounts and more often as well. But it's important that you don't forget to eat healthy and nutritious foods, because Saturn can bring lower quality foods, or more like that are less nutritious of some sort. And it's good, like maybe food that has more sunlight in it, like citrusy fruits and stuff, to counterbalance the freezing influence of Saturn on the digestive system. Plus, the second house rules the teeth, and Saturn can indicate that there's some prolonged dental work that you're doing. When it's transiting there, it's a possibility, especially from the ascendant, less a degree from Sun or Moon, but still. So some extensive dental work might be happening long term, or Saturn also rules the lips, the mouth, the skin. So it might dry out a little bit, especially on the face, because Saturn is cooling, drying, cold, freezing. There might be like freezing or cooling or dryness of those body parts of you. And inclination to a bit more cold as well on the throat, because this is Saturn in the second house. The eyes is as well the second house, that you can feel like dryness of one of the eye. And I've often seen it, people with Saturn in the second house, they have, by birth, they already have dryness, much more drier eyes, or at least one of the eyes, than others, and they often can be short-sighted when Saturn aspects the rule of the second, or is in the second. So for some of you might signal some short-sightedness that appears. For others can signal some dryness of the eye, just warning you, some dental work, dryness of skin and stuff like that. And it's but again, if you're more traditional with your money, if you're more cautious, you can, and Saturn can manifest when it's in the second house, finances, especially after from 2020, you're going to manifest materially, Sagittarius, because Jupiter enters the second house, and the hard work that you did to create more financial security and stability will pay off. Then you'll see the tangible results. Then now it might feel like it's more hard work, but it's a work you need to do, and you might feel like you're disinterested in all those things to create material security and stuff, because Saturn can create disinterest and apathy. But you have those responsibilities, and you really have to do that groundwork, that cleaning of priorities. There might be crisis of values as well. So what is valuable in my life? And you experience some crisis and reevaluate all of those things. And what are your priorities materially? So, but you have to take care, because Saturn is to do work, responsibilities, to try with repeated effort when it comes to your finances. Then you can have good and very stable, long-lasting results. And actually, Saturn is creating the foundation of your material wealth for the next 29 years. It's creating the state of mind for your material wealth, and the hard work that you're doing now financially can be paying a lot more in the future. And at the same time, while Ketu is in the second house, making you let go of certain, material attachments or certain old values, Rahu will be in your 8th house. Wow, now that's a memorable one. Wherever Rahu goes, it amplifies the effects of that house. It amplifies it so much more. It's like that's why the Western astrologers they say Rahu is like Jupiter, it expands. Oh, it amplifies a lot, multiplies. The 8th house is sudden changes. And look how much in line this is with Jupiter transiting your 1st house, because Jupiter wants new beginnings and it will bring them. 8th house is sudden change of identity, the death of an old self and the rebirth of a new one. That's why 8th house is the house where you give birth of babies as well, where the house where someone dies and when someone is born, rebirth, so it indicates 8th house where there is powerful new big transformations like death and rebirth and birth. So Jupiter wants new beginnings and is bringing them to you, new opportunities. And Rahu can make those very sudden and very fast. Sudden death of an old part of yourself and very speedy changes. You're not going to be sitting and thinking, it's almost like out of your control because Rahu is fated. So those big transformations of yourself that are going to happen in 2019 on a deep psychological level, they happen forcefully and fast. And they can be very exhilarating as well, but a bit shocking. The changes of the 8th house are always shocking. Rahu can increase the number of crises that happen, but Jupiter is making you start a new beginning there. And it's going to bring this alignment to fortuitous circumstances and opportunities for you. But Rahu is assisting you with those sudden changes, is assisting you with sudden change of your identity, sudden change of, and miraculous healings can happen as well when Rahu transits the 8th house. I had both Rahu and Jupiter transiting the 8th house from my ascendant the year that I was healed from a long-lasting state of dissatisfaction in life and state of emotional pain. And it happened on a very overnight. It's like miraculous healing, even from health conditions. They can be miraculous healings that happen on you. Miraculous healing from some state that you've been for a long time that you considered chronic, and suddenly Rahu can amplify and speed up those processes, and suddenly, bam, and there is new beginning, and Jupiter is bringing more vitality to your body. Miraculous changes through sudden deaths, and very fast changes through sudden death. It's not who you is dying, but it's these deaths, real or symbolical, benefit you in some way. For example, that was when Rahu transited, that was the death of my marriage, but at the same time, I benefited a lot. It was the best thing that could have happened for me. And materially, you can benefit through other people when Rahu transits the 8th house. So, for example, someone leaves you an inheritance, some sudden crisis happens, death of someone, then you get inheritance. Sudden rise through help that comes to you through another inheritance, or some kind of little accident accidents that is the 8th house can happen, but it brings you a big insurance payout, 8th house. Or, for example, if a divorce happens, you can get a big payout for alimony or child support or something like that from the partner. Or maybe suddenly your partner can start making more money, and that increases, and that's sudden, it's fast, and that creates a big change in your life and increases the resources that come to you through others. So you see, yes, there might be some complications with your finances, having to let go of certain financial assets, possessions, some source of security, but new ones are coming, but through others, or through some sudden crisis that happens, but it's beneficial, it brings you. For example, my income while Ketu was transiting the 2nd house in Rahu and Jupiter gate increased 3 times. So I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to lose money. Well, I lost all my possessions, but I'm like, okay, it's junk I've gathered for 12 years, for 16 years before. And then my income increased by collaborating with others, or resources that came to me through others. So if you have business partners, or if you're working on a mutual project with someone, sudden rise can happen financially to you through such sources. Or maybe you can find a lover who gives you money, all of a sudden you can meet a rich guy or woman that starts helping your Rahu transit in the 8th house. Yes, you might have to let go of something, and you might have some, Saturn issues that you're working on your finances yourself. But Rahu can give this from another source, or might be some hidden money that comes to you, some undocumented or unofficially declared, not officially declared source of income can come to you. That's more private, that's hidden. This is the 8th house. And also you can benefit through tax returns of some sort, or you can benefit some people when Rahu transits the 8th house, because Rahu uses any means necessary, even if they're not the most moral. I've seen that they benefit by starting an offshore company and hiding their money in some offshore thing, or even hiding tax money. They can have sudden rise of income because of that. Sudden rise of resources, hidden money increases, and the passion for hidden money increases as well. Or money that is somehow another person's, or clients, or that comes to you through another source, or through business partners, they contribute. And also this can be if anyone who works with other people's resources, taxes, insurances, inheritances, emergency services, they can have a sudden rise in their and passion for their work, and intensification, enhancement, and privileges that come to them through that career more this year, which is 8th house career basically. Or who work with the occult, you can develop a lot more passion, because Rahu is very passionate. A lot more passion towards the occult, towards secrets, mysteries, towards keeping secrets. Even if you're not a secretive person, you can find yourself much more excited in secrets and conspiracies in the occult, or in keeping secrets. And the only one year that I've kept a secret ever in my life was when Rahu transited the 8th house. And 8th house is also secret relationships. You can become passionate about a secret relationship. A very passionate, intense secret relationship can start happening in your life when Rahu transits the 8th house. And it can be very sexual as well. 8th house is house of deep sexual intimacy. And Rahu can even give sudden healing through sexual intimacy. That happened to me, honestly. I didn't believe you can have that, but when you have emotional intimacy, and Rahu is very passionate and intense, and kind of it can give sudden rise to miracles to happen to you, shift in consciousness, sudden change in your life. And that's another indication also for possibility for pregnancy, because the 8th house is the house together with the 5th is where one can get pregnant, because 8th house, the house of penetration, of course, and life and death and rebirth, and Rahu intensifies this house, so it can bring, plus Jupiter is in your 1st house, more fertility. Rahu penetration in the 8th house, and so that can be time also for pregnancies for some of you who are Sagittarius, and hidden relationships as well can happen. And that I was telling you that the year when Rahu was transiting my 8th house and Jupiter, both of them there, I kept my current marriage hidden because I was in the process of divorce. So it was a hidden relationship for a year. I even got married without no one knowing. It was even hidden marriage. It wasn't illegal or immoral, but I was, for the sake of not to hurt people, I was keeping it. So you can become passionate about hiding something, a secret. You might, even if you've never hid a secret, it will happen maybe for you in this lifetime, and it can be, you can be excited about it in some way. It can increase your resources through others. It can increase your knowledge and passion for the occult. This is when my astrology also started going up a lot, because Rahu is hungry and ravenous for the occult, for mysteries, it's very penetrating as well. And such deep occult studies can deepen for you. And also 8th house is investments that you've made with other people's resources. So say you've put your money in some business where others have put their money as well, and you're waiting for dividends. Well, Rahu now can bring those dividends for you, or you can invest in something very opportunistic, basically. But you see, Rahu, Saturn and Ketu in your 2nd house. If you're buying something, buy something conservative. If you're buying, don't buy something crazy new. But if you're investing with other people's resources, you can take risks. Only with other people's resources, or if you're investing with some resource of pooled money, and those risks will pay off positively. But with your own money, in a sense that how you're manipulating them, what you buy with them, you have to be conservative. All right, so sudden miraculous healings can happen, but sudden crisis, Rahu intensifies the number of sudden shocking changes, identity changing, and that's kind of in alignment with the new beginnings that you're going to go through, and they happen very fast, and you don't linger on crying for the loss of that old self or this old life. Rahu makes you passionate for the unknown, for the eighth house of the mysterious, for those big transformations of death and rebirths, and Jupiter is bringing those new beginnings. So very interesting year for you, Sagittarius. And I want to mention that some of you have to be a little bit more careful because Neptune is currently going to make a square aspect, and that's a more challenging one. And the Neptune transits are very rare. Once in a lifetime it will aspect your ascendant, sun, or moon at this degree. If you live very long, maybe no. Rarely, never twice in a life. Maybe if you're born with this aspect, it can repeat, but never twice in a life. So Neptune will be moving, especially from 16 degrees till 19 degrees. So if you have Sun, Moon, or Ascendant in Sagittarius, they will be affected from those degrees from Neptune. Actually, Neptune is from the 14th till the 16th degree till around March, but it's already been transiting those degrees in the previous 2 years. You see how slowly Neptune moves, and whatever I'm talking, when I'm going to start talking about Neptune, you've already are finishing it up. You're wrapping it up, and by May, no longer of the delusion of and confusion of Neptune will be there. But those of you who have ascendant, sun, or moon from 16 to 19 degrees, Neptune will square those 3 times, guys. And it's going to do it again in 2020. Maybe not back to 16 degrees, but 17, 18, 19 for sure. So I just have to warn you that yes, Jupiter is affecting you as well, because Jupiter transits 3 times those degrees. So there's faith, there's optimism. All those things that I talked about, Jupiter transiting you, they're absolutely happening, but with the added influence of Neptune. So for you, and Neptune with a hard aspect, you can over expect, or you can expect something that is a bit unrealistic, and you might be still, you're going to be able to manifest. Jupiter transiting your ascendant or your sun or moon in those degrees will bring new beginnings, but some of them might not meet the expectations that you have. You might have imagined it way bigger or way different, and there'll be something that you did not calculate correctly or you did not expect to be exactly like that. So there might be some kind of confusion or disappointment to some extent, or because you didn't, the steps that you took to those new beginnings might be a little bit unrealistic or lacking groundedness. So for you, I would advise to have, because at the same time Saturn is making a sextile to this Neptune, so I would advise you to in order to make sure those new beginnings that are starting, those opportunities, that you don't miscalculate them, and that there is not something that try to be as clear as possible. Try when you're signing contracts, when you're starting new things, to read the fine print, to maybe talk with someone else if you're going to start a new job or something, how the situation there really is, because someone might misrepresent things to you. For example, if it's your son that Neptune squares, a boss can promise, come here, it's a great position, or you might say, oh, I'm going to that company, it's so much better, and you go there. Yes, it's a new beginning, it's gonna be in the long term good, but it's frustrating because it turns out that things are not exactly like you expected, or maybe they promise you a promotion and it turns out it's not exactly what they said, So there is the possibility of being promise things too much which don't come to fruition, or they're not exactly like promise. And I advise you also, don't do the same yourself. You need to find some more groundedness and ask for advice, or maybe ask the experience of more mature older people to help you, and to ask for counsel from someone who is on this situation, from someone who is like an outside figure, who is like an outside detached observer, to give you advice, someone more experienced to tell you, whether it's for business, for relationships, especially if it's the sun, it can be relationships with men as well, that they're very glamorous and attractive, and yearning for them, but there's something that is not fully clear. Maybe they say something, do another thing. They promise something, but they can't fulfill that promise, or that there's something secretive or hidden about them. Or if it's the moon, it's about any relationships, because the moon is emotional connection. If it's the moon, also be careful for your home. There might be some water damage or some erosive processes, or there might be some clarity in regards to where to live and what to do. But Jupiter is bringing new beginnings, but you have to be more cautious to the details and not to get misled. But again, Neptune squaring the moon, it's a strong indication. It's a good for relocation, especially to far away place or a place somewhere. But check for water things, situations as well. And if it's your ascendant, again, relationships, because the ascendant is the axis of relationships, you have to be more cautious again if someone doesn't promise something and they can't deliver, or that you're not giving mixed signals to people as well, that you say one thing but do another, or that you're not really clear what you want from that relationship, so you kind of wishy-washy, and it will be reflected to you by attracting also unreliable people of some sort, or unclear situations in your life. And if it's the sun, it can also mean that you're a bit unclear about the career or direction, and you need more time alone, because Neptune is about going within, and you're the ones that might get a little bit more kind of wrong intuitions. As I said, Jupiter in its own sign, it increases the access to truth, but you this year still have a little bit of possibility that you might not be, that there might be some, because Neptune is more powerful than Jupiter in a sense. Psychologically, it's a further away planet. It can overpower, but still you'd have a lot of access to truth, because Jupiter is affecting that. So even if those miscalculations or misleading or confusions on clarities or misalignment with your intuitions are happening, or as I said, even some kind of downright being misled in some way can happen. And escapism tendencies increase to overextend yourself, to overspend, or well, it's ascendance on the moon, to over indulge in substances. Neptune is that, to escape realities, or to overindulge in unrealistic dreams. But again, if you're in a career which is Neptunian, which is healing arts, which is something artistic, which is to do with alcohol or drugs or pharmacy, if you're in a career that's to do with spiritual guidance, then that can be, even the hard aspect of Neptune can manifest well for you actually. There might be some confusions, but again, it's Neptunian, so it can really trigger for you certain more success with artistic careers, healing careers, spiritual guidance careers, careers connected to liquids, to beverages, to pharmaceutical things. But also there might be some dissatisfaction, because Neptune can dissolve a certain career, but Jupiter will bring a new opportunity. Don't worry. Just be careful that the new opportunity you take, that you check properly what it is. Neptune can dissolve a certain living situation, moon, but Jupiter can bring a new one. Neptune can dissolve certain aspects of your relationships and who you are, and some confusion there, but Jupiter will bring new beginnings for you and more clarity in regards to who you are. So Jupiter is to a great extent correcting this kind of more erosive, insidious and confusing influence of Neptune. And you just have to have faith and to kind of use a bit more of a practical consideration there. Maybe ask for the support of some more experienced person, down to earth, or as I said, independent figure who is impartial to the situation. All right, Uranus and Neptune are not affecting you. Sorry, Uranus and Pluto are not affecting you in any way because Uranus goes in Taurus. And what do we have? Mercury retrograde. Let's see those periods when things can go a bit wrong or more hectic because we have to fix certain things. In March, Mercury is retrograde in Pisces, which for you is your fourth house. So, Mercury retrograde in your fourth house most of March. It can mean that you're doing some reorganization at your home, that you have to repair or fix something there, that there might be some very important conversations that have to happen with family members or about personal matters, because you need to re-examine the situation there or to change the rules. They might be getting in touch and with your family. For example, you haven't seen your mom, you can see her, you visit your country when Mercury is retrograde. That's another. Or maybe you can redo something in your home, or if you're doing some repairs in your home, they might take longer, you need to fix something extra. You have certain more organizational and planning responsibilities with properties. If you're already in a career that's connected to property, like real estate, decorations, that can be more intense time of work and redoing something and putting extra efforts there. But the final result can be very good. Also, there might be the reviewing of a car. If there's some issues with the car, to have to fix them around that time. And that can be a bit stressful as well, but you know. All right, and some important conversations can escalate, things that have to be said between you and family members that need to be addressed then. Then in July, Mercury goes retrograde in Cancer mostly, which for you Sagittarius is your 8th house. That's where Rahu is. And this means that you're doing some re-examining of finances connected to you and your partner. Maybe you're rebudgeting with you and your partner. There is some changes happening in the finances of your partner, or that you're examining the rules of the financial rules between you and business partners or clients, that you're changing somehow things there that requires more extra efforts, and reevaluating how are the money standing between me and another person. Also, there might be the coming of some secret, long forgotten, that comes to the surface around July, some secret information that comes, or some documents that you need to fix in regards to taxes, insurances, inheritances, resources connected to other people, that are missing documents, or that if you're applying through some process of such matters, insurances, inheritances, taxes, that you need to put extra work there. There might be a little bit of a delay that you can fix by August. And then finally, in November, from the 1st till the 20th, Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio. And that for you, Sagittarius, is your 12th house. So this can time where you can lose certain things. Be careful with losing devices. 12 houses to lose something. Phones. This is when some information that was lost can resurface as well. Or some emails that were lost and you missed, they can resurface. So laptops can break sometimes or be lost. Or you can misplace object a lot. Kind of a bit more absent-minded when Mercury is retrograde in the 12th. And some kind of gossips can resurface as well. Or things that were said very much in the past and forgotten can resurface to be addressed. Or on another level, it can mean that if you have travels to faraway places, this can get a bit more complicated, or there might be some surprises there, some change of plans, so that you're working and preparing and organizing such things, and it requires more of your energy and efforts, faraway travels. Also, it can be a period when you're studying, and usually even the month before that and after is the whole period, that you're studying behind the scenes, or you're researching something in depth. Fantastic time for in-depth research, delving deep, using a lot of your efforts and skills to revise or to research deeply. And it also can mean that you're completing some projects behind the scenes in some way, and you have to fix or edit something of some sort. All right, there we go. And then the periods when you have to be more careful for altercations and for kind of when you're most energetic, but also where you have to be careful for stresses, for anger issues, for little accidents, and for alienating or fighting with people, are when Mars enters the your first, fourth, or 10th houses. So Mars enters Gemini from the whole April, from the start, and till the middle of May is in Gemini, till mid-May. So April, a month and a half, and part of May, Mars is going to be in your 7th house. Now, it's more possible during that time that you fight with people more, that you attract more feisty people, that the clients that come to you, they're angry about something, that they're more dissatisfied or stressed out people around you, that your partner is very busy or more stressed out and snaps back at you more, or you snap back at others. But at the same time, those provocations that come to you from others can be a great instigator for changes, to get you moving, to fix something. And it also can be a great time if you can focus that energy, that more angry energy of Mars, that fire that Mars generates, into some productive project. Often when I have Mars transiting opposite my 7th house, especially from the ascendant and from the moon, I tend to see certain, because Mars wants to fix problems, and people come to me and kind of attack me about this or that and something that's wrong in the website or with the business, and I get super angry, but then I think about it. I don't react immediately. I know I have a Mars transit. It always escalates into drama if you react. Just try to keep a diplomatic tone. And I always, after that, actually go and fix that problem, because when I think about it, I'm like, this anger fuels me, and I'm like, actually, they're right. This sucks. I have to fix it so I stop having this problem. So others will kind of be motivating you to fixing things, to being active and changing things a lot. And also it can be great for some mutual project. If you're doing some mutual project together with another person, you'll get a lot done, and another person can motivate you. It can be a great time to get like a fitness instructor to motivate you, or to work out with a friend or something like that. After that, Mars goes into Virgo. That's the next time you have to be careful, from August 19th till from August 19th till, and the whole September basically. So September and August, Mars goes into your 10th house. That's a very, very active period for your career, for your public image. Mars goes there once every 2.5 years only in your 10th house, Sagittarius. You'll be very busy with work things. You'll be very busy with projects. You initiate some new projects, so get a lot done. Yes, there can be more stresses there. There can be some stressful situations with authority figures, with institutions, with father figures that you're fighting a bit more. That you're clashing heads in regards to matters concerning your career or public image, but you have a great chance now to get a lot done. Mars makes you very ambitious, makes you bam, 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 do project after project, and it's very kind of systematic approach to, and relentless and energy towards achieving your better social status and getting some very busy project at work done, for example, as well. And even kind of being more ambitious and driven and asking for a promotion or doing the work necessary that can take you there. And I don't think after that we have Mars anymore. It starts from the next year. So these two periods for you, Sagittarius, that are very active, but you also have to be careful not to have altercations, not to be too irritable with people, and to wait it out and to see what do you, to use that fire for something constructive. And you have to be more careful in those periods for certain accidents as well. Thank you so much, Sagittarius. What an interesting year. The most important thing is powerful new beginnings. New program for 12 years is being set for you now, and very fast new beginnings because of Rahu in the 8th house. Very fast transformations of one lifestyle and identity to another. So, interesting year. Let's see. Write down comments. Come back here throughout the year. Communicate with each other and say what's happening with you. How are you passing through that? I have my moon, for example, in the 16th degree of Sagittarius. How is this Neptune transit happening for you? How did it manifest? Or I have my sun at 17 Sagittarius. I started the business. What about you? Or talk, communicate, give ideas to each other. So thank you so much, guys. Happy new beginnings.